The next one is live your resume. Live your resume. Remember remember now that you have built your resume. The next step is to live the resume. As an educator, I can tell you that there are many people out there with the best degrees, and that is it. They are only good on paper. Trust me, okay? So nothing else. Nothing else. I've been around long enough to see them, and I can tell you they're only good on paper. But you must deliver what you impressively said you would deliver when you came for that interview. Remember that interview, right? Okay, where you sold yourself as the best choice. Is your work today a reflection of the sales pitch you made in the interview? I'm watching. I'm watching. Reminder number 5, write your reference. Okay? As you work here at TD, every day you are writing your reference letter. I have had the opportunity to write many persons requesting reference letters from me. And over the years, I've said to students politely not to ask me for a reference. Why? What am I going to say about them? I've said that to some students, I'm honest. I mean, they're always late. They always need an extension. Always having an issue with everything. They don't participate, and they're the worst nightmare in a group or a team. Now, on the other hand, there are students where it has been my pleasure to write their references. But the truth is that they write their reference. They write it by their actions, their commitment to craft. If you break something, don't damage anything, that's okay. Don't be alarmed. Their commitment to the craft, their demonstration of excellence, their passion, their vision, the teamwork and the collegiality. They write their reference. And let me at this time stop to warn you. And I'm using that Caribbean style grandmother finger point. Anybody know that? Some of you who are not good, you're not used to that kind of culture, you might think the person is coming in rude. This is what we're used to back home. Finger pointing, warn you, this is the last chance. After this, somebody's going to cry, somebody's going to get it. So let me take this opportunity right here in this fabulous ballroom and warn you. Anyone that accepts you're mediocre does not wish you well. When you do wrong and you don't do your work and they say, oh, don't worry, they don't wish you well. Because secretly they are doing their work so they could get the next promotion, and they are cheering you on to be lazy. Anybody who cheer you on to be lazy and to be mediocre, run from them. Tell them that you're not being their friend anymore. Don't have coffee with them. Okay? Okay. So I Google. Everybody Google, right? I still Google, of course. I Google for the word mediocre. And I really want to share this. It says average. It says middle of the road. Uninspired. Undistinguished, unexceptional, unexciting, unremarkable, run-of-the-mill, pedestrian, lackluster, and forgettable. When I did that Google, I was like, wow, what a word. I'm honestly now scared of the word mediocre. If you want me to fight you in the parking lot later on, call me mediocre. I just fight. That word now for me is like a no word. It's a no word for me right now, okay? So the next one is what many of you talked about also, is be a representation of excellence. What was the fuss the other day about Wakanda and Black Panther? What was the fuss? It was one word, representation. Years ago, when you Google certain places, like you Google Ghana or you Google other places, the first picture that comes up and is trending is some garbage in some crazy, ridiculous looking place. That's not representation. That's not representation of who we are, what we do. And so representation is important. You know what I'm saying? So with the increasing negative stereotypes and cultural appropriation, discriminatory images constantly being promoted, projected, and perpetuated, we need representation of what Black excellence looks like. Our children, our college students, our young employees need representation. Back again to that mentoring up and down situation she talked about. We need representation of what to aspire to. You go to TD, you see a Black manager, you think, okay, I have a Black manager, I could be a manager one day. It becomes something you can attain to, and we need representation. And yes, we have Nelson Mandela, we have Barack Obama, we have Rosa Parks, we have Oprah Winfrey, we have Marcus Garvey, we have Nina Simone, we have Nanny of the Maroons if you're from Jamaica like me. But we need Paul, we need Simone, We need, what's your name? Michael. We need Shaniqua. We need Ofemi. We need all of us. We need you. I feel a preacher coming out. I didn't say I'm a Christian background, right? I feel a preacher coming out. Are you having a good time? Yeah. I'm having a good time. I didn't drive this far enough to have a good time. I'm having a good time. We must be authentic about equity, inclusion, and diversity. And not get into the check the box mode where so many companies are today. And I must be honest, when I'm listening to what TD is doing, I'm listening to your position, I'm like, wow, they really have someone who is in charge of doing that. And I'm like, way to go, TD, because many people want to do it. And they are very big on policy. They are very big on having a policy. But there's no action behind that policy. And when you go to complain, they'll say to you, check the record, policy number 1,335.63. Something way down the bottom there, there's something that says it. There's no action. So we want to get beyond that. In one of my interview panel, I've done a couple of interviews. In one of my interviews, the panel was 6 middle-aged, mid-class white women. And I walked in, and I'm a very person who's very assured of myself. I have a good sense of self-esteem. But as I walk into the room, I thought to myself, wow, how do we change that dynamics? And of course, I didn't get the job because I was not the right fit. I'm 6'4", I'm a strong accent, beautiful, strong Jamaican accent, by the way. Right? Going up north for an interview like that with 6 middle-class, middle-aged white women. I'm different. I'm othered. The moment I walked into that room, I'm already othered. That's just the reality. How do we use our TD policies and our strategies and our programs to really understand that there needs to be a change in the dynamics? And let me just make a disclaimer to say, I am not saying 6 white people cannot hire a black person on the other side of the table. I am saying the dynamics itself is sometimes so threatening, so discriminating in itself. How do we change that dynamics so people can feel like they are included in every single thing we do? So tonight, I'm very happy to see leaders in the room. And I've spoken to some of your leaders, and I'm very happy. Some of you have bigger titles and bigger seats at the table, access to policy and decision making, more power, more privilege. How do you use that power and that privilege to extend access? I deliberately use the word extend because I want to ensure we go beyond the one black person, aka token. When will we be honest about the dynamics and the implications of this continued privilege expressed and exercised in our organization? You may say we want more people of color in TD, in higher positions, but that begins with HR. And I'm being honest when I said this. When I spoke to a couple of persons in the room, I'm sorry, I'm forgetting your name. Sean?
No, Chris.
Chris and Amon. Sorry, I messed it up, that's okay. I'll apologize for messing up your names. I was really, really inspired speaking to you two, and I'm like, wow, you are doing something. Wow, you are doing this. It's real. It's not just a banner. I like the banner, by the way. I want to take some pictures when I'm done. It's not just a banner. It's real. It is real. And I've met, and let me just say, I have people I've met who have worked at TD, and I've got to realize it is real. I've seen TD sponsored many programs. I myself am the chair of Black Cap, and TD sponsors our Inspire Awards. Not Inspire, our Joyful Giving every year. And so I can tell you that TD is doing something in the community, and I'm very pleased with that. So we see that happening. So we must be deliberate, and these are 2 words. These are my words. These are my ask. I'm following TD rule. You must be deliberate and intentional about our strategies for equity, diversity, and inclusion. And this leads me to my final reminder. Reach back and give back. You must open doors for others. When you walk through the door, do not slam it. Hold it ajar so others can walk in. Speak on their behalf. Recommend someone. He just talked about it. Refer someone. Write a reference letter for someone. Offer that mentorship for someone. If you, and listen to this carefully, if you are the only person winning in your circle, something is wrong. Back home, we have a word called gravelicious. It means greedy. You want it all for yourself. That's a new word I'm teaching you all. We all have vocabulary development this evening. Gravelicious. It means greedy. And you say it in a very loud way, gravelicious. It's not a nice word. You don't say it nice. It means you want all for yourself. So don't be gravelicious. Be graceful. Don't be gravelicious. Be kind. And finally, celebrate who you are. Celebrate. You have to take that time to celebrate. I believe in working hard. And I believe in constantly climbing and pushing and getting to where you want to go and doing the next step and doing the next level. But for some of us, we are so focused on the climb, we forget to live. I remember when I just started drinking. He said drink responsibly. I remember when I just started drinking, I was introduced to red wine. I like Heineken, by the way. Desert wine, white wine, all that kind of fancy stuff. Because I wasn't a wine person. I didn't grow up having wine in my house. I didn't grow up drinking wine. But I was also introduced to champagne. And champagne was a drink of celebration. Someone got married, champagne. Someone passed a board exam, champagne. Somebody got a license, champagne. Somebody graduated, champagne. It was champagne. And I fell in love with champagne. But I tell you this, if you come to my house anytime, there's at least 5 bottles of champagne in my house at any one time. And there's always one in the fridge chilling. Because I stop often to celebrate. In a world like this where sometimes you feel so pressed, you have to find time and space to breathe and to celebrate who you are. So don't think my life is a bed of roses because I have a PhD or all that kind of stuff. I have had my fair share. I have had my fair share of oppressive people and circumstances. I've felt and still experience the impact of racism, negative stereotype, classism, and homophobia in my own life. But that cannot be my only story. And I refuse that to be my only story. So, amid all of that, I stop, I count my blessings, and I have a drink of champagne. So congratulations on your continued journey to Black Excellence 365. Thank you.